Hey, what's going on, everyone? So, the Yamaha MT-09, is it a good beginner bike? Depending on where you look and who you ask, the answer is either yes, no, or maybe it depends. But I'm not really here to tell you guys one way or the other, yes, get the bike, no, don't get it. I'm just trying to share my experience with you, with it being my first bike. Real quick about me. About 12 years ago, I went to a basic motorcycle safety rider course. You know, I was super excited because I wanted to get a motorcycle at the time. Did the course, went to the DMV, got the endorsement on my license, and never got a bike. It just didn't happen. Fast forward to about 12 years later, this past February. It's about how long I've had this bike, for about February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Going on 9-10 months, because I bought it right at the beginning of February. So I got a wild hair up my decided I wanted to ride motorcycles. Did a little research. All I knew was I wanted a naked bike. Didn't know what kind or anything like that. So the first dealership I walked into, I saw this bike right here. And I thought it was a beautiful motorcycle. I was like, that's the bike I want, that's the bike I'm gonna get, but first, let me see what I can find out about it. You know, I saw a whole lot of videos, reviews, forum posts, whatever, about don't get this bike if you're a beginner. It's got too much power, too much torque, you're gonna kill yourself. You know, but let's face it, at the end of the day, most of us are stubborn. If you tell us not to do something, we're gonna do it. All I'm asking is you make an informed decision on what you're going to do, no matter what bike you're looking at, whether it be an R1, a Turbo Busa, whatever. Really think about, am I going to kill myself on this motorcycle? How well do you know yourself? How mentally mature are you? And do you know your limits? A lot of that goes into how you're going to ride the bike, what you're going to do on it, and whether or not you're going to be driving through traffic like some jerk-off. Because I promise you, if you start out on a fairly powerful bike, you're not going to learn as much as quickly as you would if you just started off on a smaller displacement bike. And I only know that because I recently bought an R3 for my wife that I've been riding around a lot lately, which has taught me a lot about riding. But, you know, enough about all that. Let me get more into the bike. I actually need to get going, so I'm going to throw on the helmet, get on the GoPro, and talk to you guys more from there.
So, like I was saying, when you buy a bike, what you're looking at has a lot to do with how well do you know yourself? How well do you think you know your limits? I feel like I know me. I mean, I like to jump out of airplanes for fun. So I honestly felt like if I'd have bought like an R3 or a Ninja 400, I would have gotten bored quickly. Which is why I bought the MT09. I understand it's a powerful bike. It's got a lot of torque. And the throttle is super twitchy. It's super sensitive. So one thing I did for the first few days when I owned the bike was all I did was ride around my neighborhood, get used to first and second gear, and get a feel for the bike. And I learned, ooh, what's going on up here? What do we got, guys? I hope they're okay. She didn't look happy. Where was I? I knew there would be a learning curve on this, and I was ready to accept that. So going back to the throttle, it's super twitchy, super sensitive. I learned real quickly about throttle control. If you hit a bump in the road the wrong way, or a change in pavement level, it's not hard to, like, you know, freak out, and every little twitch of the throttle is crazy. So I learned real quickly how to control my hand. Like, I can hit bumps in the road all day long and still maintain very constant, steady throttle control. Now I understand the bike has different rider modes. You got, you know, A mode, B mode, standard mode. That doesn't negate the fact that this is a powerful bike. It's still a dangerous vehicle. You have to respect it, especially if you're a beginner and you know you don't have the skills to handle it. Since I've owned the bike, I've mostly only just ridden it in standard mode. You know, I've played with it in B mode and A mode, and you can definitely feel a difference in throttle response, but I usually just keep it in standard mode. Do I think anyone can handle the MT09 as a beginner bike? No, I don't. Do I think some people can? Yes, I do. The bike's heavy. It's a 450-pound bike. That has a lot to do with how easily maneuverable it is. Like, I can throw this bike around pretty good, but I promise you, on the R3, I can throw an R3 around a lot easier. I can get deeper into the turns. So really think about that when you get your first bike. Do I regret buying the MT09? Absolutely not. I love this bike. I love the way it sounds. I mean, well, you know, once you put an aftermarket exhaust on it, because let's face it, in stock, it just sounds like a sewing machine. But once you put an exhaust on it, it sounds amazing. The bike gets attention everywhere I go. I've never had strangers roll down their windows at a stoplight and want to talk. But when I'm on a motorcycle, when I'm on this bike, I get it all the time. I get random people rolling down their windows asking me, hey, what kind of bike is that? It's crazy. I bought the bike knowing it was a lot of bike, knowing it had a lot of torque and power. I mean, it's got, I believe, 115 horsepower, 65 foot-pounds of torque, and a super twitchy throttle to go along with it. That's a recipe for disaster, especially for a beginner rider. This is a very powerful bike, and it will kill you quickly. So even though I've been riding this bike 9-10 months now, I still respect the bike, respect its power. I don't drive, what's up, dude? I don't drive like some crazy person. And I think if you go into it with that mindset, you'll probably be alright. But if you're going to buy this bike because you think it's some sort of wheelie monster and you're going to just be, you know, popping dang wheelies in no time, it's not going to happen. What you're going to end up doing is seriously hurting yourself or killing yourself. I'm not even comfortable enough on this bike yet to even start to learn how to wheelie. So it'll probably be a while before that. Oh look, that dude's got the same helmet as me. He's got good taste in helmets. So just know, guys, I mean, if you are looking at this as your first bike, really think about that decision. It's also price point you got to take a look at. It's a $10,000 bike, roughly, and that's with taxes out the door. You could probably get it a little less, maybe a little more, depending on where you buy the bike. Hopefully you guys get it less than that, and I hope because you're watching this video, maybe it is in your price point. It is a consideration for you. If not, then I would definitely recommend look at an R3. That's definitely a beginner-friendly bike. At the end of the day, guys, you're going to do what you want. I'm just hoping that you'll take into consideration some of what I said. And if you are going to get this as your first bike, great. If you maybe watch this video and realize it's not a good choice, you know, maybe look at the MT-07. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions or comments, post them below. If you like the video, let me know. But other than that, guys, I will see you next time. Peace.